friends. Hi friends. I wanted to do something different. I really enjoyed doing that weekly reading vlog where I randomly generated a number and I numbered my shelves, and I went onto Google, randomly chose a number which picked my shelf, and then randomly chose another number which ended up picking the book. And I binge read the Broken Earth trilogy as a result of that, and I just wanted that same energy, so I thought let's do that but different. So I put all of my unread books that are not classics, my dog is also here with me, yeah, I put all of my unread books in this little jar, and I thought we would pick one from this jar and then read it for this week. Like, I'm pretty sure like so many creators do this, but I really liked the idea of it being out of my hands, so I did this. And I used to always pick my TBR using a jar back like the early days of my blog, so I'm really excited. I'm kind of terrified though, because there are at least two books that I really don't want to pick, which is A Little Life and To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. I don't want to read those. I am not ready for those. I'm not ready for Hanya. Please don't be a bitch to me, TBR JAR, please. So we're gonna choose a book, and then I'm gonna read it, and we might only read one book this week. We might read more, and when I finish this book that I choose, I'll pick another one. Like, I kind of want to get through my TBR, and there is a series that this is most likely going to be the start of, which is something along the lines of like topple my TBR or like tackle my TBR. It needs to be an alliteration, okay? If you have any ideas, let me know. And I'm gonna do it with this, and I'm gonna just work through my series on my shelf as well. So it's gonna be a fun time. I'm procrastinating, so like let's choose a book. I kind of love the sound. I don't know why. Okay. Lord in heaven. Please be good. I don't want to start any new series, please. Can you imagine if I just like pick, I don't know, what's a really big series? Like Robin Hobb or like Brandon Sanderson. The problem is I don't fit. Anyway. Oh no, look how, I feel like it's such a tiny little thing that it's gonna, I'm terrified. Can you see it? Is that? I literally can't even tell what that says. Interesting. That's actually kind of a good pick. It's the Inseparables. It's right here actually. The Inseparables by Simone de Beauvoir. I actually got this a few months ago, maybe. Was it a few months ago? Yeah, I think it was at the start of the year. This is actually really great. I'm actually really excited about this. All I know is that it's about friendship between two young women, and they just go through it. Kind of an existentialist thing, maybe. They realize that the world is not fair, it is actually cruel, especially if you're a woman. So I think this is based slightly on Simone's own relationship with a particular woman who'd passed away. Like, they were best friends. I don't know if they were only friends, but I think so. Yeah, it tells a story of the real life friendship that shaped one of the most important thinkers and feminists of the 20th century. So yes, this is, thank you TBR JAR, this is fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna read this and I'll let you know my thoughts. This is great. Oh my god. Maybe just don't give him any. Do you want to grab it? Yeah, but you can talk because I'm gonna put music over.
There's a boy.
Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. Hey everyone. I completely forgot to update you all on like me actually starting this book. I finished it though. Like I'm finished. Sorry for the lighting. It's late. But I finished The Inseparables by Simone de Beauvoir. This was so, you're so high. What the fuck? This was great. This was so good. I don't even know what to rate it because I flew through this and I like annotated it and so this is kind of based on Simone's own like real life friendship with a woman named Elizabeth or Zaza, but in the story we follow Sylvie, Simone, and Andre, Zaza, and they meet when they're children at their school. Sylvie is immediately like taken by Andre and the way that she kind of like her intelligence, the way that she would toe the line between what is proper and what is not. Mind you, both come from, you know, Catholic background. Sylvie's family is not intensely Catholic, whereas Andre's is. And it's a very interesting exploration of religion, especially when like Catholic identity is so closely tied to like womanhood and national identity as well. Like it was like the mother's job to be responsible for the soul of the children, and the father doesn't necessarily have to be part of that kind of like religious tradition. Actually, Sylvie slightly condemns Andre's father for being very religious because in her head, in her words, she claims that it feminizes him, and it kind of goes back to this idea that religion, like the religious sphere of the family, was mainly the job of the woman, and it was seen as a woman's thing, going to church. And so you have a lot of like very interesting things happening in the background, but it's mostly a character study of Andre from the perspective of Sylvie, because Andre is from a big family, heavily religious, a lot of traditions, like a very long line of just family traditions and religiousness, right? And for Andre, like, she either goes into a convent or she gets married, and that's really the only two choices. And so you see Andre as a very young girl grappling with these questions of like, is this life? Is this what life is? Like, is it just the same day-to-day shit and then getting married to someone that you don't want to get married to? And she grapples with this, but on the other hand, she kind of feels, we don't know what she's feeling other than what she says to Sylvie, but this is what Sylvie is kind of interpreting from what's happening with Andre. But Sylvie thinks that Andre is just, what's that word? Suffocating under the immense pressure of living up to what her mother and her father and God want from her. So in her mind, like, God and her mother are very much like this, because that's how it's just been in her family. Like, everything that she does that is seen or that is going against what her mother wants for her, her mother uses God to be like, well,
you know, I forgive you, but whether or not God does is up to you and your confessor. So it's like using God as like a tactic to shape this young woman. And it's just really sad. And she grapples with incredible depression, like just such deep, deep depression. She, you know, suicidal ideation, like it's Andre is so deeply unhappy. But then she meets someone. She's introduced to Pascal, who is a friend of Sylvie's, and Sylvie is very happy to see them both falling in love. But Pascal is also like a man who has his own kind of emotional responsibility. Like he feels like he's responsible for his sister and his father in a way that he doesn't do anything for them, but if he was to leave home, then his father and who will take care of his father is his sister, and he feels bad for his sister. So he hasn't really told anyone that he's in love with Andre. And then Andre, unfortunately, her mother finds out about Pascal, and the mother's like, well, unless you get engaged right now, you're leaving for England, because this takes place in France, because you can't be together. The temptation to sin would be too much for you, and I know you, and you're not strong enough to like withhold yourself, and then you'll damn yourself. See, like religion plays a very, very heavy like hand in Andre's life and in her family's life. And Sylvie's just sitting there like, the fuck is going on? Like, she's deeply worried about Andre. But eventually, it doesn't really matter. Throughout the book, especially when Andre is like a young woman or in her 20s, she gets really bad headaches, but because of she gets worked really hard by her family. Like she's just constantly doing chores, she's constantly doing errands. They don't leave her alone, and Sylvie does say in this, like, she's like watched and controlled by her mother and grandmother. Like she has no time for herself, and so she doesn't eat. And I think it might also be because she feels guilty. She feels like she's just constantly sinning, and she doesn't understand what God wants from her, but at the same time she doesn't believe in God, but she does because her family does, and she doesn't want to disappoint her mother. Like it's a lot happening, and you know that I love what this book was doing with that. And she has a lot of headaches, and she doesn't eat because she's just, you know, going through it, and she doesn't have time. But maybe she also is trying to punish herself, so she has headaches. She's always like, oh no, like it's fine, like I just need to rest or whatever. It actually is the reason for her death. So Andre dies unexpectedly because she actually has possibly meningitis of I can't say that word. Encephalitis? Oh my god. I don't know how to pronounce this. That one. So she essentially becomes really delusional and she dies, and it's really, really sad. And Andre, I think, spends 4 days in this period of like incredible fever and delusion until she passes away, and Sylvie doesn't find out until after it happens. And her last words to her mother, well, the last words that Andre says to her mother in the book was so fucking sad. Listen. So this is Andre to her mum. Later, she squeezed her mother's hands. "Don't be sad," she said. "In every family there's a bit of rubbish. I was the rubbish." Simone de Beauvoir writes so well. I don't know what else to say. This was really, really good. And I think, I don't know what to give it. I'm kind of gonna I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars, because I just really loved everything that was happening in this. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Claire Foster, or Claire Keegan. Sorry, Claire Keegan. A very short book, feels kind of meandering. You're a bit like, where is this going? But so hard hitting. It's a small book about very big things, and I just, the experiences, I should say, of growing up that Simone de Beauvoir describes in this is much more than just like the physical aspect of growing up, of like your body changing. It's more like this cognitive type of maturing, where it's, you are like born and are within a society that is a certain way, and then as you grow up and you grow older, you start realizing the hypocrisies, and you start critically engaging a little bit more with your world, and then realizing a little bit of how your world has shaped you. And then you're like losing a sense of, not innocence, but like there's this scene where Sylvie is describing going to mass, I think for someone's wedding, I think it was for Andre's sister's wedding, and she was talking about how like Andre has two twin sisters, and they're very, very young, like toddlers or like very small children, and they're having a blast in church at mass, like with the wedding ceremony, because, you know, there's this magnificence, like there's this sense of something else, you know, and there's like, you know, music, and there's like going up and down the aisle, and like the altar stuff, and taking communion, and there's like this celebratory nature to it, and it feels so much, right? And you have fun because it's like part of this game that you're playing. It's the religion game. And then the way that Beauvoir talks of the change, I'm gonna read it out to you. I had paraded around in a communion dress and kissed the enormous violet stones in the bishop's rings, the altar of repose, the May altars to the Virgin Mary, the nativity scenes, the processions, the angels, the incense, all those scents, the choreography, all the extravagant trappings had been the only luxury of my childhood. It felt so right being dazzled by all that magnificence, feeling your soul float above your head, white and shining like the host at the heart of the monstrance. And then one day soul and heaven darken, and you find that remorse, sin, and fear have taken up residence. That's like when you hear about this book in terms of like a coming of age, it's that type of coming of age. It's like this like an altering of how you perceive your world that Sylvie goes through, that Andre started going through, but was never really afforded the luxury of being able to sit with that because of her mother and the way that her religion was used to control her. I'm so happy I read it. I need to read more of Beauvoir's work. I need to. This was just magnificent. And I'm feeling a lot of things right now, and I don't know if it's necessarily sorrow or like a melancholy, but it is maybe it's a heaviness. I'm feeling a heaviness after reading this book. I think that this is a book to read if you enjoy Allie Smith's work, if you enjoy maybe even like Claire Keegan's work. I feel like that's a good mishmash of recommendations. So it feels very Simone de Beauvoir. But that means that I have to pick another book. So shall we get the TBR jar? Shall we get the TBR jar? I'm really excited. I literally just realized why I can't like see myself properly in the camera, and it's because I'm not wearing my fucking glasses. Anyway, I've got my little TBR jar. It's like this tiny little thing. All of my physical TBR is in this jar, except for my classics, because that's an entirely different video that I'm thinking of doing. Actually, no, I've already kind of started it. I'm really nervous.
Okay, so the fact that we got a short book, the universe was on our side for this, right? I could get anything, but I'm allowing myself one veto because there is one book that I am not reading. I'm not reading A Little Life. I'm not in the mental and emotional position to read that book. So if I get that, I'm not reading it. But literally everything else is fair game. If I pick up a series, like a book in a series, but I haven't read the previous book to that series, then I just read the previous book. Does that make sense? Like if I pick out the 4th book in a series, but I haven't read the 3rd one, I'm gonna read the 3rd one. I'm procrastinating. Okay. The next book that we are reading for this week. I'm terrified. I'm fucking terrified. Okay. Oh. We're not counting that one. I need to pick it up from my hand. Okay, is that... These fucking nails, I can't... Is that one? Yeah, okay. We have this one. Let me just put this down. We have this one. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Okay, can you see it? Can you see that? Because I can't. Oh my god, what is it? Huh. It's Children of Dune. I'm not mad at that, actually. Where is that book? That is such a surprising one. Okay. Let me just grab it. Children of Dune. I don't know why I feel shook, but I feel shook. Okie dokie. This is one that I can work with. Children of Dune is book 3 in the Dune Chronicles. I have read book 1 and 2. They are both incredible. Dune is like one of my favorite books of all time. Okay. I don't know what this is about, except for that it takes place obviously after the 2nd book, and after the 2nd book, which, okay, Dune, then Dune Messiah, which is book 2. Think of Dune Messiah as the extended epilogue of Dune, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But at the end of Dune Messiah, something happens. So I'm interested to see how it continues. So we have the sand-blasted world of Arrakis has become green, watered, and fertile. Old Paul Atreides, I forgot how to pronounce his name. Atreides, who led the desert Fremen to political and religious domination of the galaxy, is gone. But for the children of Dune, the very blossoming of their land contains the seeds of its own destruction. The altered climate is destroying the giant sandworms, and this in turn is disastrous for the planet's economy, because they need those sandworms. If you haven't read Dune, you won't know. Leto and Ganima, Paul Atreides' twin children and his heirs, can see possible solutions, but fanatics begin to challenge the rule. Okay, this is going to be a really interesting pick. But I've actually been really wanting to go back into this. So we're gonna start Children of... I can't believe I picked this. We're gonna be picking this. Oh my god, I love this. I love this so much because I would not have picked this up for ages. I really hope I finish this in like the next 2 days so I can do at least one more pick for this week, because I love this. No wonder every booktube person is like doing a TBR jar, because it's so bloody fun to like not have a choice in what book you read sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna go read Children of Dune now. Reading Children of Dune has been a very interesting experience because I loved Dune so much. You can't see it, but it's over there. I heavily annotated it. It was a treat and a joy to read. And Dune Messiah was, in my opinion, the extended epilogue, right, of Dune. And I had such a great time. So going back into this world is kind of insane. I don't know, I'm feeling both like I'm drowning. I forgot how densely sci-fi this is, so I'm just in it for the ride. I am still really enjoying it. However, if anything incesty happens, I'm DNFing this entire series. So one of the plot points in this is Lady Jessica, who is the twins Ganima and Leto's grandmother. So they're the children of Chani and Paul. There's like a plot point where Lady Jessica has come back to Arrakis because supposedly the Bene Gesserits want Leto and Ganima to breed, as in have a child together. First of all, they're both like 9 or 7. I think they're 9. They're absolute children. But they're siblings. So that's that plot point happening. Both Leto and Ganima are like, no, we're not. That's like, we're not doing that. But I'm really worried that it is going to happen. Because, okay, there was one creepy incestuous instance in Dune, the first book, where Aaliyah, who is Paul's sister, is like, I don't know, like she's getting dressed or she's changing, I don't know, she was doing something. She was naked and Paul just so happened to like see her naked, and I'm pretty sure that moment he felt like sexual attraction to his own sister, but then like it kind of like brushes past it, and I just sit there, I'm like, Frank Herbert, why would you write that shit? I don't understand. Are we supposed to be disgusted? Was that your point? Like, was that why you included it? Is he including this because we're supposed to be like, ew, disgusting, no? Or did he just do it for fun, like for shits and gigs? I don't know. But if that happens, I'm DNFing this series. Like, if they actually have a child together, I am DNFing this series. I'm just letting you know. But other than that, it's very political, this one, which I'm really, really enjoying. We have, so Aaliyah, who is Paul's sister, is essentially like the regent, or yeah, the regent of Dune. She's controlling it because her mother left. Paul is supposedly dead because he walked in the desert, and the twins are too young to take control. The twins, however, are something called, is it the preborn? So what happens to Aaliyah when she's pregnant, no, what happens to Aaliyah when she's in her mum's belly is like that something happens, Lady Jessica does something, and Aaliyah is born with like all of Lady Jessica's memories, but also all the memories of like all of their line. That's what also has happened to the children, to Paul's children. So they are 9 years old, but also have lived thousands of years. So it's really strange and kind of creepy. Like, I think in one of my annotations I wrote demon children. Like, they literally are like that. They just know everything and they're 9 years old. But they also can be possessed by the memories of whoever's like in their minds. So at one point Paul had possessed the memory of Paul in Leto's mind possessed Leto, and then the memory of Chani in Ganima's mind possessed Ganima. And so that at that point they were Paul and Chani as they knew them, but also as their brains knew of them. It's not body swapping, but it can be very confusing. But I'm honestly, with sci-fi, you kind of have to just go for the ride. I'm having fun. I'm interested to see what happens politically. There's like conspiracies to kill the twins. You know, now the impact of what Paul and his like religion of the Muad'Dib on like the Fremen, we're seeing a lot of the impact of that, not only on the people but on the like the land itself. So it's gonna be an interesting ride, I think. So I'm not that far into it. I'm not even halfway. I'm like, yeah. It's taken me a while to get through. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but at the same time, it's kind of cool. However, I'm trying to remember, at the end of Dune Messiah, how old was Aaliyah? Because I'm pretty sure she was still a teenager. I'm pretty sure she was like either 13 to 16, maybe 17 if we're stretching it, but I'm pretty sure she was on the younger side. But we find out that immediately when Paul disappears, she marries Duncan. And I'm trying to remember if maybe that did happen at the end of Dune Messiah and I don't remember it. The women in this book, I don't know, like we should maybe be happy that in the 1970s Frank Herbert allowed women to be written in his story, but there's something, I don't know, I feel like all the women in here are very the same, but the only one who I think is written slightly different is Lady Jessica. I don't know, we'll see. I feel like that might be a generalization, but yeah, it's happening. I'm having a good time and I'll keep you updated. I'm actually going to have a tea now and read for a bit because I want like a half-hour break from doing work stuff, and then I'll continue my day. But I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and sit here and chill. I've got my pen ready to annotate. These pens are so cool. They do bleed slightly though, but I really like them. They're the Pilot Poplar. These ones, it's the 0.7. I still think that 0.7 is too thick for annotating, but I've been using it because it's just been what's around me, and it's not like, it's pretty good. My favorites are still the Muji 0.38s if anyone cares. Just taking Hunter for a little walk, even though it's so cold. Oh my god, it's so fucking cold. He's precious. So this is how cold it is. I'm wearing like a hat plus like this big white coat that I got for winter. It's freezing. Anyway, reading update. I have like 100 pages to go of Children of Dune because I finished all of my work pretty early today, so I've just been reading. So I have 100 pages to go, and what the fuck is going on? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm really interested to see how like Frank Herbert decides to pull all the lines, like all the plot lines together. There's a lot of moving parts to this, so I'm interested to see how he puts all these moving parts together in like one big coherent picture. I'm just at a park near my house. We walked here. It's the one that we always typically come to. Oh my god, this sun. Like, it looks like it's a nice day, but it's fucking cold. Anyway, so can you see the clouds in the background? My dog is making me walk on such muddy grasslands. Hunter, where are we going? Hunter walks me. I don't walk Hunter. But yeah, anyway, Frank Herbert, Children of Dune. It's interesting. My arm is sore. It's interesting. Again, I'm very confused as to what the fuck's going on. I'm kind of saddened by, like, Aaliyah was my favourite character in... Sorry about this. Aaliyah was my favourite character in Dune and Dune Messiah. And in Children of Dune, she's kind of this... I'm not going to say villain, but kind of. She's definitely on the side against the twins, and she's part of a few conspiracies to, like, kill people, part of her own family, and she's become something that her mother and the Bene Gesserits have feared all along. So, kind of saddened by that. I hope there's, like, a redemption arc for her, because, like, again, she was one of my favorite characters. I really liked her. I just thought she was really interesting. But yeah, anyway. But we've seen Ganima kind of come into her own a little bit more, but now she's just gone, like, one track mind. There's only, like, one thing that she's worried about, which is, like, seeking revenge for the death of her brother. Which is not a spoiler, don't worry. Pretty sure it says on the blurb that, like, stuff's happening. Hunter, I'm not going there. Come on, this way. Sorry, baby, but I don't want to swim in mud. It rained before. Like, really heavily. And the wind, all of a sudden, wind happened. Wind happened as it typically does. And it was so strong that I honestly thought something was going on. But I don't know if you can see, like, it's so grey. But yeah, we're just walking. But yeah, that's my thoughts at the moment. I am still so interested to see what the fuck is going to happen, literally. Oh, that's a gigantic piece of shit. The problem around here is that a lot of people leave their pets, like, they just open the door and, like, tell their pets to, like, go and have fun, which is, I'm terrified that something would happen to my dog, so I would never do that. But because they do that, these animals, these dogs and cats, just, like, shit wherever they want, and no one picks it up. So it's like when you're walking in a lot of our parks here, it's like a minefield, literally, because all the shit. And because we also still get kangaroos up here, you're also dodging their shit. My dog is terrified of kangaroos. It's very funny. And he hates cows, which is very random. But I think for Hunter, he thinks that cows are just big dogs, and he really doesn't like that. He's also ambivalent towards horses, but more often than not, he doesn't like horses as well. I think in his mind, they're just big dogs, and I don't think he likes that. If you hear that, that's my dog pissing. It is spitting, I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, so that's my updates. And I really want to finish this today, to be honest, so that I really want to pick another book for this vlog. And it's still been, like, the same week. It's just the Friday. So I kind of want to do at least one more book for this vlog for the weekend. I think that'll be so much fun. We're walking back now to home. And yeah, I'll keep you updated as usual. So, I finished. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I don't even know how to describe what happened, because I'm still trying to figure it out. And like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand. Sorry, my dog. I don't understand. The ending of this was obviously on purpose, so to further expand upon in future books, because you can't like finish, like, this can't be a trilogy kind of thing, like it has to continue, because there's so many, again, moving parts. We're just supposed to like accept the fact that a 9-year-old, because he's physically 9, he's a child, but he's, you know, millennia old, because he has all these memories of people in his head, and he has all those experiences of those people. I'm talking about Leto and Ganima, but like, what the fuck? And the way that Aaliyah's story ended, I'm not happy, Jan. I'm really not. I did not like that ending. It wasn't very satisfactory at all. And just like the conclusion of the story and what Leto and Ganima have decided to do, I don't. Why? I don't actually know. I feel like at this stage I would want to continue the series because I kind of want to know what happens, but I'm not going to be running to like purchase the next book and read it. So we'll see how I feel. What would be the next book? It would be God Emperor of Dune. Actually, that might be interesting. I don't know. We shall see, but I finished. So just in time, because this vlog is going to be like a week and a bit. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow I will go back to the TBR jar and pick out another book that is hopefully readable across like the weekend. We shall see. But I'm so excited to get back to the TBR jar. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't know if I said that, but I gave Children of Dune 3.5 stars because I couldn't stop reading it. I reached the like 200 page mark and I literally could not stop reading. I'm really enjoying the politics of it all, and also just like the machinations of Leto and Ganima and like Lady Jessica, what she was trying to do. But how do you outsmart people who literally see all the different threads of the future? Like, it must make like Christmas shopping really fucking hard. But yeah, okay, I think now I'm going to actually go to bed. I'm actually going to go to sleep because I finished the book and I don't have to like stay up late like reading it, because I really wanted to finish it today. And also, again, like I said, couldn't stop reading it. Anyway, this is my doggy. Isn't he adorable? He is very tired. He had a very busy day doing nothing. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, it is now Saturday. I just went out with Mum for like the day. It's time for one more pick from the TBR jar. So let's do it. Where is it? I'm just gonna go straight into it. I'm really hoping that it's not a very large book, because I kind of really want to binge read it this weekend. So let's see what happens. I'm picking my next book. my dog. Hopefully it's just one. Yeah, I know, my nails have gotten ridiculously long. I have to go and get them done next week. So that's there you go. The C? No. No. The C, the C. Fuck. Where even is that? Where did I put that? Maybe on my unread. Okay. BRB, I need to find this bloody book. So, this is it. I literally just got this from the secondhand store a few, was it weeks ago or months ago? Wasn't intending to read this. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, let's read the, that's the beauty of the TBR jar, isn't it? Okay, so what it says is the sea, turbulent and leaden, transparent and opaque magician and mother. When Charles Araby, over 60, a demigod of the theatre, director, playwright and actor, retires from his glittering London world in order to abjure magic and become a hermit, it is to the sea that he turns. He hopes at least to escape from the women, but unexpectedly meets one whom he loved long ago. His Buddhist cousin James also arrives. He is menaced by a monster from the deep. Charles finds his solitude peopled by the drama of his own fantasies and obsessions. So this is Vintage Classics edition. And I think winner of the Booker Prize. I don't know if this book was winner of the Booker Prize or she. Oh no, it's this won the Booker. Okay, so this book, The Sea won the Booker way back in the day. 1970, no. I don't know. This was published in 1978. This is, it's got an introduction. The writing is like that. So this is the next book that I'm reading. She's a thick boy. It's 502 pages. Okay. I can't fucking believe this. I have no words. I'm gonna go and cry now. Hey everyone. I literally just came back from a Greek restaurant. One of the best Greek restaurants actually is in Mooney Ponds. It's on Mount Alexander Road and it's called Phil Helleni. It's fantastic, okay? It's so fucking good. They have this halva ice cream. So good. They're Greek donuts, what are they called? The name escapes me. The Greek donuts are not the best. My mum makes them better, but oh my god, such good food. Anyway, hi everyone. I thought I'd give you a little update, like a preliminary first impressions situation. I'm taking off my boots. Also, oh my god, this is not about books. These boots, I got these a few weeks ago with one of my dearest friends, Lisa. I love these boots. I got them, they were like more than half price. I got them for only $65 and they're leather. I love these boots. It's the perfect heel height. I have worn them all day. I wear them for teaching. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. I think they're Sandler or something. They're from, I went to Murundjeri and they have a shop there called Sandler and they're amazing. Anyway, first impressions for Iris Murdoch's The Sea. I'm only literally like maybe 15 pages in, but I just want to tell you, I think I'm in love with it. So I think TBR JAR might have forced me to read this book for a reason, because it's written so beautifully. It's honestly gorgeous. There's such beautiful quotes, and I wasn't going to like underline, sorry, I feel like I'm out of breath. I wasn't going to underline passages or anything, but okay, so I'm literally 16 pages in. I wasn't going to underline anything, but I can't help it. It's about this dude named Charles. He is, as you said on the blurb, he was like an actor, playwright, director, but he made he's most famous for being a director. And he's in his 60s, he decided to retire, so he's at the sea. And he just wants to be by himself, bask in his solitude, reflect and write about his life, and just fall back in love with the sea and maybe with himself. And he kind of is a womanizer, and you kind of get from his writing, because the way that this is written is it's first person, because he's writing his diary, so you're essentially reading his diary entries, and he kind of comes off a little bit as, I wouldn't say woman hating, but a little bit like he easily demeans them. So he's kind of a fucking dick, but holy shit, we've already got some really beautiful writing about nature and about the sea, and I feel like, obviously, because it's called the sea is going to play a really huge, like, it's going to be a character in itself, but also maybe a symbol for something or a metaphor for something. And it's just beautiful, also quite philosophical. We've talked a little bit about like what is his identity, and like what does legacy mean, and in that kind of like a subsection of that is like what is fame, and solitude and loneliness, but does he really want to be alone? It's kind of very interesting, and I'm very interested. Can you tell I'm interested? It's very interesting. I wasn't expecting to immediately be grabbed. I was thinking it's a 500-page book. I was expecting to have to at least wait for 100 pages to actually feel something, but I'm kind of here for it. It's reminded me, what I had this moment when it literally reminded me of something, of another writer. Who was it? It reminded me, was the writing or was it the reading experience reminded me of? I think it's a combination of the writing and the way that in the beginning we're introduced to the character of Charles. It reminds me a little bit of Possession by A.S. Byatt, when we meet the character for the first time. Forgot his name, but kind of that vibe. A very intelligent man who is not maybe super likable, but he has very interesting, there's that word again, thoughts happening in his brain. I don't know, there's just, oh, fantastic. Don't look at my clothes, okay? We understand it's messy. I really hope I love this, because look at the backlist. If I love this, I have so much to read. So much to read. And she also wrote non-fiction. Yeah, this is really interesting. Nothing has happened, obviously. He's explaining his house that he got by the seaside. He's talking about like his philosophy on food and cooking. So yeah, it's just a book that you read for the vibes. I highly doubt I'm going to finish this weekend. So again, I might push this vlog back a little bit. So it'll be like a week, like 3 or 4 days, maybe even 5. I want this ready. I want this vlog to be done by next Wednesday. So I'm going to give myself to next Wednesday to read this book. It's doable if all I do tomorrow is read, but I have to do various things tomorrow. I have to mow the nature strips outside, which I hate doing. I hate it not just because I'm allergic to grass, I just hate doing it. I don't know why, I don't know what it is about it. I hate like having to do it, and then when I'm doing it though, I feel like such a bad fucking bitch. I'm like, yes, I'm mowing the fucking lawn. I am doing really cool things. Look at me whippersnipping. That's literally how I feel when I do it. It's like when I'm actually doing it, I feel awesome. But like leading up to doing it, I fucking can't stand it. Like, what is that? Someone explain, please. But that's really only my plan for tomorrow, is to mow the nature strips. I wonder if there's an audiobook for this actually, because if there's an audiobook for this, I can listen to it while I'm doing random house chores and stuff, which could be kind of fun. I'm a chatty Cathy right now because I'm waiting for my mum to finish showering so I can shower. Also, this is my pencil case for book annotations. It's very pretty. I got it from Officeworks. But look at my cup. They accidentally kind of match. I got this cup from, oh, I don't know the company name, but it was like a stall thing in the middle of a shopping centre at, which shopping centre was it? Fountain Gate. Actually, Mum and I went all the way to Fountain Gate for funsies because we'd never been before. So that's where I forgot if I can find the business name. I feel like I got a card, but I don't know which bag it would be in. But yeah. Such great sounds. I think it's just like vinyl stickers on it. But I love it, but it accidentally matches my book annotation case. Also, fun stuff is happening this week. By this week I mean next week, next Friday, I'm going to Cairns. So when you're watching this right now, yes, you, hello, how are you? I adore you. When you're watching this, I'm in Cairns. Pray for me. The humidity is going to kill me. But it's gonna be so much fun. I'm really excited because I'm basically just gonna like be like chilling and having fun with Tiff and Em, and it's gonna be really cool. I've never been to Cairns before, but I'm hoping to finish this book before I get to Cairns. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yes, you saw me talk about Children of Dune. I'm not going to repeat anything else, but this was good. Wasn't as incredible as the first book, but still quite an interesting one. Seriously, like, what the fuck though? If you've read this series, can you tell me one thing? No spoilers in the comments, but just tell me one thing. Does it get weirder? Like, you know, with like the everything, if you know, like the skin, like does, please don't tell me he turns into a fucking worm. Tell me. Actually, don't no. Please, if you've read this series, just let me know if it gets even more weirder from this point on. I feel like I need to be warned because I wasn't ready for what it feels. This feels like an LSD type of hallucination that Frank Herbert had and just decided to write it down as part of the series. Like, especially like the second half, no, the last third of this, that's what it felt like. So in comparison, this feels very slow moving. You know what this, oh my god, you know what the sea feels like? I've just found, okay, listen, reading the sea, oh my god, be prepared to be blown away. Reading The Sea by Iris Murdoch is like being on a boat, on water, obviously, and like there's like waves gently kind of pushing you up and down, like that calmness, that peace. The sun is like shining on you, but it's not It's not like super Australian summer sun. It's just like a very mild spring day. You smell the salt water, you know. Maybe there's also like, you can kind of smell the sand, you know, that scent that the beach has, like that salty sand scent. You're wearing like a big sun hat, sunglasses, and like you're reading, and you're just like gently moving with like the water lapping. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It literally feels like you're on the sea. I don't know, there's just something, I wouldn't say it's peaceful, but it just feels like that reading it. Are you blown away yet? Lie to me. Make me feel good. Hey everyone. I'm whispering because I'm at Hannah's house and her mummy's sleeping. Hi Julie. So I just wanted to give an update on Iris Murdoch's The Sea. I am nearly halfway through, just about to hit halfway through. Now it's getting really weird, and I don't know if it's an unreliable narrator that he's mentally deteriorating. Like, I don't know if he's like actually physically, mentally unwell now, or if weird things are happening. Like, I don't know if it's like a gothic weird vibe or if it's like his mind. It's fascinating. I was thinking to myself, see if I can push you here somewhere. I was thinking to myself that you're a bit crooked, but when I it's a very thick book and it takes you a while to read a page, right? Because it feels quite dense, but it's quite propulsive. Like, when you read it, it's maybe not propulsive, it's compulsive. Like, you have to continue reading because you get absolutely sucked into Charles's internal monologue and like what's going on, so you need to continue reading. And that's like, I'm so fascinated with this book, and I have absolutely no idea where it's going. Like, I can't even tell you where, like, the end game for this book. Like, I don't know. I can't predict it. The writing is stunning. Charles as a character, again, is quite engaging. He is a low-key terrible person, especially towards women. He's treated women like dog shit his entire life. I should say, like, his lovers, his past lovers, like dog shit, and they've essentially come to haunt him. He can't escape them, and now that his first love is in the village that he's moved to, things are just getting weirder. And I don't know if I've said this already, but I don't know if Charles is a reliable narrator, and that questioning of the story of Charles, of what he's writing, is making this all the more interesting. I don't know what else to say, friends. Like, this is really surprising the fucking shit out of me, and I just think the writing is absolutely stunning. Is there a quote? I feel like I've been underlining quotes. So I'll read a little bit of the quote and then I'll read my favorite part of the quote. Emotions really exist at the bottom of the personality or at the top. In the middle they are acted. This is why all the world is a stage, and why the theatre is always popular, and indeed why it exists. Why it is like life, and it is like life, even though it is also the most vulgar and outrageously factitious of all the arts. Whereas the theatre, even at its most realistic, is connected with the level at which, and the methods by which, we tell our everyday lies. This part is my favourite. What I needed with all my starved and silent soul was just that particular way of shouting back at the world. And
he's talking about like his need to go into the theatre. What I needed with all my starved and silent soul was just that particular way of shouting back at the world. Are you joking? I love that quote so much. I think it's my favorite. I love his comments on his father. Like, they're really beautiful and really sad. So I'm enjoying that as well. At this point though, even though I'm really loving it, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a favorite. Like, it's not giving 5-star vibes yet, because I've been really picky with my 5 stars. I'm going to be really picky with my 5 stars this year. This one I don't have like those very strong specific feelings. Like, I wouldn't be shouting about this book from the rooftops, but I understand why it won the Booker. But honestly, that might change. Like, this might be a 5-star read. I have a lot to go. This could be 5 stars. But what I do know is that I can't wait to read more from Iris Murdoch. Like, I'll be on the lookout for more Iris Murdoch. I can definitely tell you that, because this is just so fascinating, and the writing is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And that's me. That is me. I hope you enjoy it. I most likely won't update you until I finish the book, because I feel like I've updated you a lot for this book, and I don't want to bore you with the details. So I will update you when I finish the book and tell you my thoughts. But this reading vlog has been so wonderful. I've had so much fun with it. I want to do this every month. I think I'm going to make it like a monthly series on my channel, like one that I do, yeah, because it's just so fun. It's just so fun having no control over what you read. It's so fucking fun. Anyway, good night. I'm back. If you hear noise in the background, it's the washing machine. I finally finished The Sea by Iris Murdoch, the last book for this reading vlog. I don't know how I feel. I've literally been sitting on the couch. I just finished it, but I've been sitting on the couch just like staring into space, because I don't know how I feel about it. There was such a change in the story, and I was thoroughly enjoying myself. I was like raving about this book, right? It was just, the writing was beautiful. I was finding everything to be quite engaging, and even though Charles, our main character, is a man with many flaws and he's kind of an asshole, I was still really interested in his story, and I kind of liked that about him, right? But then it kind of got annoying. It focused on Hartley, his old love, and it was atrocious. Like, the way, I don't understand why it was necessary for that entire plot point, and I just didn't like it, and it went on for too long. Maybe it's to emphasize like his almost like manic obsession regarding Hartley, but he like literally kidnapped her and like locked her in a room in his house. It was, and like his friends are there and his cousins there, and they're just like, babes, and they eventually help him realize just to release her, like let her go back to her husband. But it's just, I just don't quite understand why that entire part of it took so long. It was like a couple 100 pages, and it was boring. It was dull. I kept on disconnecting myself from reading. Like, it was just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Obviously this book it's mainly a character study, right? But I love character studies. I just hated that part of it.
and I wanted more just Charles being Charles, but also maybe with his cousin, and then everyone dies, and it's just very strange. And I don't like the way that I'm gonna say like the last third, no, I'm gonna say the last half. I don't like the last half of this book. It was so wonderful in the first half, and then it just went whoop. This didn't need to be this long. It needed a huge edit. It was I'm kind of annoyed. I'm annoyed because there are so many great quotes in this. I read recently on page 315, listen to this. God, the sickening brutality of men, the women who are left behind to make agonizing decisions alone. I made that decision alone. Christ, how I wish I hadn't done it. That was Rosina, an ex of Charles. She was actually married, but then she fell in love with Charles and like left her husband. A lot of the women in this though I feel like they don't take responsibility of their own actions, or they're written in a way that's not, no, they're written in a way that doesn't feel real. I don't know how to explain it. They're just there, and maybe it's because Charles, like we're reading this from Charles' perspective. He's writing his diary where he's talking about these people. Maybe it's because Charles himself doesn't really consider them as people. Like he doesn't, the way that he engages with people around him is just very not good. And like that's one of his biggest flaws, is he's kind of an asshole. But yeah, my issues, like the second half of the book was just bad for me. I don't know why. No, that's a lie. I do know why. It's because of the entire Hartley thing. Like I just wish that was such a smaller aspect of the book, and I think it could have been written with so much more nuance. I want to know why a bit more, because we don't really get to see, again, because it's, you know, it's his diary that we're reading, but like some of the things that Hartley herself does is not really explained. And we're kind of towards the end, it's like, is she in an abusive situation? Because if she is, Charles is making it horrible for her. Like he, at no point did he actually care about her. Like that's, and again, that was possibly the point. But it's just really sad, and I don't really understand the Hartley plot point. I don't get it. And then the way it ended, I was like, okay, whatever. But so much potential, and it was lost for me. It was lost, and I'm really sad about it. And that's it, folks. It's the end of the reading vlog. I think we did pretty well. I had a lot of fun. I read The Inseparables by Simone de Beauvoir. We then read Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. And then we read The Sea by Iris Murdoch. A very strange collection of books, which is actually really exciting. I am definitely doing this again, like specifically this TBR JAR video again, because I had so much fun doing it. If I didn't have other reading plans, I would literally continue doing this as like a month-long vlog. Because it's just so much fun to have no control of what you're reading, and you just have to pick it out and you have to like read it. It's just a lot of fun. So this is definitely happening again. I'm gonna try and make it a monthly thing because it's incredible. But this has gone longer than a week. It is now actually 2 weeks. So that's fun. But other than that, okay, so it was just awesome. Okay, I have to go, and I will see you next week. Stay safe. Happy reading as per usual. Okay, bye friends. Can't wait to do this again. No wonder all the booktube peeps are doing this. There's a reason. It's so fun.